No, you don't have to wear your best fake smile. Don't have to stand there and burn inside. Oh, 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 if you don't like it.
Hey everyone, and welcome to my first official vlog. I leave for the ship in T-minus 4 days and I'm super excited. But I thought it might be helpful for any future volunteers coming to the ship to learn a little bit about what I'm bringing and what I'm not bringing in my suitcase. So if you're not coming to the ship, you might want to tune in for my next vlog, which will be about actually arriving on the ship. So stay tuned for that. But if you are coming to the ship, some of these tips might be helpful for you. However, it is important to note that most of the items I'm bringing are more helpful for the ladies versus the guys. But not to worry for you guys coming to the ship, I have actually booked a very precious 2 minutes with my brother Wesley at the end of this video. Yeah, and I basically had to sell my birthright to get these 2 minutes, so make sure to skip ahead to the end if you're a guy coming to the ship. So when it comes to packing, the first thing you have to think about is that there is very, very limited space in your ship cabins. So when it comes to suitcases, I would recommend packing in a duffel bag because once you unpack, you can just collapse that bad boy and throw it in a closet or something, which are also limited spaces, so maybe you don't want to throw it in the closet, but somewhere. So I always travel with this orange lug case within my carry-on, and inside of it I keep my passport, my vaccination booklet, any other paperwork I need, especially the paperwork Mercy Ship sends you. Don't forget to print out your Mercy Ship's paperwork because they will ask for it and you will need it, and if you don't have it, you will not be getting to the ship. So the next thing I do is I make sure to have a very large and bright colored name tag for my checked suitcase. And it's not so much the brightness that matters, I guess, but really more space on the back to be able to write exactly where you're going to be staying, all your information, make sure it's updated. And I'm talking phone number, email, name, location, your dad's name, I don't know, anything. I read a super depressing statistic that said over 21.8 million bags are lost every year. So you probably didn't want to hear that, but it's true. So I actually have lost my bag for 19 days. I was traveling from Madagascar through Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris to London. So I have learned that detailed information is always better because they can contact you faster. And I always make sure to pack an extra pair of clothes and a sweatshirt and things like that in my carry-on now because I do not want to do that again. Another thing I do in packing is I pack in these e-bag cubes. They come in all different sizes, medium, small. I pack in these for 2 reasons. One, it just makes your packing more organized in the suitcase itself. However, another reason why I use these is that on the ship, drawer space is really limited. And so what I found in the past is that I have to hang up all my things in my very tiny closet and then just use the bottom of the closet for shirts and shorts and whatever. And so when I'm on the ship, I use these as basically my drawer. I pile them at the bottom of my closet, and like one has t-shirts, one has shorts, one has pants, and then they're just their own little built-in drawer that you can just pull out and voila. So the next important thing to remember is the plug system on the ship. All of the plugs on the ship are British, which means if you're coming from any other country that is not in the UK, you need to have a transformer or an adapter, which we do sell in our ship shop. However, supplies can be limited because you don't know how many new people just came before you and took them all, so I'd recommend bringing a few for yourself. Alright, so now for the things that are actually going in my bag. First, I want to show you about the size of the wardrobe I'm bringing for 10 months on the ship. So this rack holds almost all of the clothes I will be bringing and the shoes. And so basically I have a few t-shirts, a few long sleeve t-shirts, 2 pairs of jeans, 2 pairs of shorts, and some skirts. On the ship, less is definitely always more. Plus we have a great laundry room, so you can wash your clothes every week. So you really don't need that many clothes. What you need are the right clothes. When it comes to shorts, the rules are pretty much the same for guys and gals. Basically, these shorts need to be covering, halfway over the knee or just above the knee. So the shorts I have used for the last 5 years have looked like this. So what I love about these shorts is that they're long enough, they're not skin tight, but also they're reasonably fitted, so I'm not like wearing pirate pants swaying around my legs. So great. So when it comes to shirts, these are 2 great examples. I'm bringing a few that are long sleeved but really thin material, so you're not gonna die of heat. They're really long in the back as well, and so these are really good for those days where you just want to have extra coverage, you might be going out, but also sometimes the AC can be surprisingly freezing on the ship, and so it's actually nice to have some long sleeve shirts. However, for the days where the AC is not super cold and you are sweating, just some nice normal t-shirts are great. These are a staple clothing item of my wardrobe on the ship because they're lightweight, they're comfortable, they're modest, but not like ultra uber conservative, down to your ankles, tripping you when you walk upstairs, that kind of thing. So I love these. I'm gonna bring like 3 of them and they are great. So next up, swimwear. I'm gonna get it out of my handy e-bag. Right, so for the guys, swimwear should be pretty easy as long as you don't wear like super tiny board shorts or Speedo, but why? Why would you do that? So for the ladies, the ship dress code says that we have to wear a one piece, and by one piece, they really mean one piece. So those bathing suits that have like tons of holes cut out of them to the point where it's just basically like wearing a bunch of string connected to each other, that doesn't count as a one piece. So my bathing suit just looks like this, just normal one piece. I think it's important to remember that although a one piece like this is considered very modest in Western countries, it's still a skin-tight piece of clothing that is not considered modest in most West African countries. Because of that, I think it's really important to have a swimsuit cover-up, something like this. We actually had a phase on the ship when people were coming from their cabins or inside the ship up to the pool just dressed in their bathing suit, so they were walking, along the outside decks and then up the stairs to the pool, which we have on deck 8. And local people on the dock were watching this, and they actually, unfortunately, thought that we were running a brothel on the ship because so many ladies were going up to this deck 8 dressed in very skimpy clothing. So that's why, even though it's great you're choosing a modest bathing suit, still make sure you have a cover-up, just to be safe. So I actually couldn't find a dress that I like that also fit the dress code. So I'm bringing this old dress that doesn't fit me anymore, but I am just going to find fabric I like once I'm in Cameroon and have someone make me a new dress. If you have any dresses that don't fit you anymore or they're just worn out and you wish you could have them remade, you can in Africa. So a few more tips and tricks before I turn it over to my brother Wesley. I never leave anywhere without my silk bag. This is basically a sleeping bag made out of really thin silk. So this is great if you are the adventurous type and you are planning on going on a lot of overnight trips while you're in Cameroon or whatever country the ship is in at the time. What I love about this is that on the ship, obviously you're going to be guaranteed a nice bed, sheets and bedding and everything you need. As soon as you leave the ship, you cannot control what is going to be in the bungalow or the hotel or wherever you show up. But this you can control, and it's light enough and thin enough that you're not going to die of sweating excessively. If you bring a normal sleeping bag, don't bring one because you'll be dead within 10 minutes. Maybe not 10, maybe 15. Another thing that's important to bring is a great hat. You obviously do not have to bring an Indiana Jones hat. I'm just bringing an Indiana Jones hat because why wouldn't you want an Indiana Jones hat? My last Indiana Jones hat blew off somewhere in the Indian Ocean off the coast of Madagascar, and so now I make sure to have this thing, even though it looks really weird. When it comes to toiletries, we do have a ship shop. It's called Pier 99, and it has normally one of everything. Like it'll have like one brand of shampoo and conditioner and toothpaste, and I think right now the brand is Dove, so not bad. But if you're really particular about the type of shampoo and conditioner and hair products you use, you should definitely bring some of your own. However, I don't recommend stocking up like it's the end times. Because one, if you do run out, you know you can survive because the ship shop will have it. And secondly, I think one of the greatest things about ship culture is learning to conserve and learning to be content with less. Oh, I almost forgot a beloved ship tradition. And that is once you have finished traveling the 12 to 48 hours it takes to get to the ship, you're tired and you're hungry and you look terrible, to put it softly. You walk up the gangway and the lovely receptionist will greet you warmly and then ask to take your crew badge photo, which you will have to wear in a visible place every day for the entire time you are on the ship. It's the best tradition. And as you can see, I have had a few of these name badges over the years. Just a few. And the one thing I have learned after many failed name tag photos is to carry what I call a sprucer up kit in my carry-on. This bag just has like a hairbrush and some lip gloss, or maybe you just need a glass of water you can just throw on yourself and wake yourself up. You won't regret it. Alright, so I think another thing people often wonder is if you should bring a raincoat. And my personal answer is actually no. I actually never wore a raincoat a day in my life when I lived on the ship, because although the outside protects you from the pouring rain during rainy season, the plasticky inside does not protect you from the pouring sweat that will be flowing from your pores because of the hot weather. I think it's just better to accept that if you're going to be there for rainy season, yes, it will rain, yes, you will get drenched, but yes, it will be awesome because rainy season is fun and I miss Africa so much and I can't wait to go back, oh my gosh! So I can maybe see bringing one of these if you are planning on being on the ship for quite a few sails, because then you could pack it in your at-sea bag. And an at-sea bag is basically a little bag you have packed with things you might need in case you have to abandon ship and live on a lifeboat until you are rescued. So in that case, this could be helpful. But my personal opinion when it comes to protective outer layers and sweaters and things like that is to just bring a normal sweatshirt like this, maybe one or two, and you should be great. Alright, so another thing we do on the ship is called Frisbee Friday, and basically means every Friday crew members who want to play Frisbee go off together and play Frisbee at a local field. So if you think you'd be interested in that, make sure you bring some old t-shirts and a pair of athletic shorts. The Mercy Ship's dress code does allow a little leeway when it comes to athletic activities and what you can wear, but it's still important to respect the culture around us and not wear too short of shorts. I have found when looking for women's athletic shorts that they tend to be really short, so I think these actually came from the little boys section in Target, so yeah, it's weird that I said that, but the length is great. When it comes to food, my opinion may differ from other crew members, but I'm personally choosing not to use my limited space in my baggage to stock up on snacks. Well, because first of all, we have a ship shop and a snack bar that has all kinds of snacks. But secondly, if you stock up on all of the comfort foods from home and everything you're used to, you might not ever adventure out and meet the mango lady in the market that you're going to end up buying mangoes from every week, or find that local delicacy that becomes your favorite. However, I understand if you need to bring a few of those comfort items. I am bringing my favorite tea from Pike Place Market, so we all have our thing.
Now it's time for Waffles with Wessels, the part of the show where Wesley eats waffles and talks about stuff.
Huh.
Yum yum!
These are frozen.
So, Wesley, what are some important items you think that guy volunteers coming to the ship should bring to the ship?
Let me think. Clothes.
Ah, yes, very insightful. Would you mind going into a bit more detail about what type of clothing they should bring?
Shoes and what are those things called to put in your... Oh yeah, clothes.
Ah, you just get wiser and wiser every moment. I know you.
I try.
What would you say that you shouldn't to bring to the ship?
Don't bring a bad attitude.
So you have given some riveting details so far about what guys should pack. I'm wondering if you just have any more things to say for guys who, are coming to the ship for the first time, don't know what to pack, don't know what to put in their suitcase.
I'll just show you.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so packing for me pretty much looks like this. Here's my bag. Got my toothbrush. Got my trusty machete. And you can't leave home without these, obviously. I'm just kidding, that's silly. I don't use that.
Oh, the toothbrush. Right.
Alright, I'm set. Here we go.
Is that DSA approved?
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's all good.
Well, this has been Waffles with Wessels, so thanks for tuning in.
But now she's slipping, trying to carry the act. She's sweating.